Welcome back to the Brace Yourself podcast. Today,
Okay.
we are writing a eulogy to our 20s as Vanessa has officially crossed the threshold into her 30s. Welcome, Vanessa. Welcome to the club.
It's been a couple months and we're just now finally getting around to this. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, I turned 30 in February and I just felt like it came with a lot of different emotions. Some I think were expected and some were unexpected.
The
But I
build-up
think it's
was fun.
yeah, the buildup was fun. And I think that it's just a fun topic to talk about because your 20s are so different from your 30s. It doesn't matter who you are. Uh, how you are in your 20s definitely doesn't always make it into your 30s. And I think that, I don't know, I think we both have pretty unique experiences um, in how we got to this point in our lives. And we're coming from very different places in our 30s too. And so I think that's
Sorry.
always fun. I don't know why you're gonna have to like kick them out while you do this.
They jumped the gate. So,
Do you have a door?
I do, but then I have to put Stanley all the way in the back and it's just
It's just a whole mess.
it's a whole mess. And my house is chaotic at all times of my life, and I think that's just part of my niche at this point. Chaos.
Yeah.
I am a
No.
living chaos demon.
I'm the same. I think I'm all chaotic and it's just part of my personality now.
It's part of who I am. Oh God, Madison's texting me. Speaking of chaos demons.
I don't even want to know what other chaos she's introducing.
For those of you who weren't tuning in on the last episode, my sister dropped some major bombs while we were recording. I think my brain is still processing those major bombs.
It was
She
a lot.
sent me the type of snake she's catching.
I love that part.
Why did I freeze? Okay, we're back. Anywho, any hoozle. Let's get into it. Sorry.
Okay.
So Vanessa turned 30. Welcome to the club. Hey.
I'm glad. Happy to be here. For some reason, I don't know if this is just because I am a high strung, anxiety ridden individual, but my whole life I was like, I don't know if I'll even make it to 30. Don't know why. But I'm here and I made it. I didn't know that I would make it to 30, but I also always wanted to be 30. Like my whole life, I've always wanted to be in my 30s. And I think I just thought that like everybody that's in their 30s, like I don't know. I think I had a very specific timeline for my life, and I knew I could kind of predict where I would be at in my 30s, and I just wanted to get there so badly.
Yeah.
So bad.
Well, I think this is going to be an interesting episode because we're like basically the same age and we're in two very different places in our lives as far as like
Yeah.
being in our 30s, because you're in your 30s, you have a family, you have a job, you do all the adult things. I don't know what my problem is. I can't seem to get it together.
It's not a problem. You're figuring it out.
Tell my grandpa that.
That man does not want me to have a conversation with him. No, but I think that we just have two very unique experiences because it's almost completely opposite. You spent your 20s figuring out who you are, um, and adventuring and being spontaneous and doing all of these cool I mean, like, your lore is insane.
I have backstory for days.
Oh. Where it was very different. I had, like I said, I had a timeline and I had expectations and things that were expected of me to do and figure out. And I did. But I spent all of my 20s working really, really, really hard. And it didn't really leave a whole lot of time for me to figure out who I am, what I like outside of going to school, getting a degree, finding a relationship, settling down, getting married, having a child. I did all of the things that I was supposed to do. I had a nice little neat, tidy checklist and I checked all of those things off.
I had a checklist at one point in time, and I don't know when exactly I crumbled it and threw it in the garbage, but at some point in time I did. I did. I had like
Yeah.
I had this like crash out when I was in college and I was like, I hate this so much. And then I left and started trade school. And then I hated the first trade that I got into. I went into the second trade, and then we had a global pandemic that shut my trade down. And then right after the global pandemic, my mother passed away. So then I spent all that time processing all my emotions and stuff. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's when my, like, checklist really went off the rails, because
Oh, yeah. Big
because
time.
I didn't have anyone to, like, keep me in check. Like, I think before, my mom was always like, "No, you need to, like, figure out what you wanna do with your life. You need to figure it out. Like, you need to figure it out." I didn't have anybody in my ear telling me I need to figure it out all the time, so then I was like, "I think instead of figuring it out, Imma go find myself." Like, I'm gonna go find myself, and then I'm gonna go find myself again, and then I'm gonna go find myself again, and here we are at the 3rd time finding ourselves.
It's just so funny because we're from, like, completely different ends of the spectrum to where, like, ideally, it would probably be, like, a nice happy medium of, like, I went to school, I worked hard to get my degree, but I spent the summers being able to travel and, like, do these things or, people who have the total college experience where, they stayed in school or they stayed at school in, like, a dorm and they found like-minded people and they did clubs and they, like, that's probably, like, a good happy medium between the two of us, and
We're on both ends of the spectrum.
we hit completely different ends of the spectrum.
Well, I think
Uh,
I tried to be too independent right out the gate when I was in my 20s. Like, I got my first house when I was 21 years old. So, from there, I was working, like, 3 jobs at a time trying to, like, pay all my bills and stuff. I didn't have time to go to school outside of trade school, and even that was, like, hard to do with my jobs and stuff. So I've always worked a lot of jobs. Were they significant jobs that did anything for my resume? No, but they paid my bills, and that was always kinda just my goal, was to pay my bills while I figure it out. So I did a lot of work, but not towards any specific goal, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah. That was kind of my whole 20s experience. I was just I was just working to live, because I don't know why, I just wanted to be so fiercely independent when I was in my 20s. Like, I wanted to live on my own, do my own thing, and not have anybody be able to tell me what to do. And so that's how I lived my whole 20s.
Yeah. Well, I think that that probably lends itself to, I think our moms are very similar in that, um, I think they set certain expectations that they wanted us to follow and a certain pathway that they wanted us to follow. And to where I like leaned into it and was like, okay, mom, sure. Yeah, I'll do that. You were like, no, nope, I'm not going to do that. I love you and I know you want me to do that, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that like, I mean, your mom was phenomenal and she helped you out so much still, even while you were living on your own. But I think that you were like, okay, well, if this is what you want me to do while I'm living under your roof, I'm going to go live on my own so that I don't have to do that. To where I was still very much like, ooh, I don't think I could. Like, I should probably just stay over here and do this.
Which, looking back at it, I probably should have gone that route too, and figured it
Yeah,
out, but we're
I
there.
don't know. I don't know.
I think that's why it's like this is a good episode for us because we have such different perspectives on it. Like you're coming from the perspective of like you followed the steps to like what people usually want their lives to be like by the time they turn 30. I rode the hot mess express until we got here.
Yep. And let me just preface this. I am so grateful for everything that I have in my life. I am proud of my accomplishments and what I have done. And I'm very grateful for the home and the family that
Yeah,
I
I mean,
have.
I am too. I'm grateful for all my experiences. I learned so much about life and about myself
Yeah,
and things like that. I'm very grateful. I think there's
yeah,
just times where I wish I had a little more figured out. I wish I had more direction as far as career goes and stuff like that. Cause now I'm just kind of throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like,
yeah. I think that's fair. I think I just like I said I did all the steps but I wish I would have been maybe more towards that happy medium of where I did go away to school for my first year and I don't know. I think I had this unfortunate codependency with my mom that I think unfortunately she helped create in that she made a lot of decisions for me growing up, and I grew up with very strict rules, and my curfew was 9:30 p.m. on a weekend, and I had these very strict rules, and I had I didn't really make a whole lot of decisions for myself when I was in my teens, which teenagers should not make a lot of big decisions for themselves, but, um,
no.
I think it just means that I wasn't really set up to be on my own very early on and in a position to try to make these decisions for myself. So I ended up coming home after my first year, and I lived at home, and I commuted to school, um, and I think that was okay, but I think I didn't really get involved with, like, campus life. I didn't make any friends in undergrad, um, through school. So, like, I literally just did that. I just did school. I decided on a major that I wasn't 100% sure about. I knew what I wanted to do. Um, I knew what I wish I could do, but I was not able to, um, because growing up, it was very, like, you need to get a degree, you need to get a good job so that you can support yourself if you needed to. You don't want to live paycheck to paycheck. You don't want to live this lifestyle. You
Right.
need to get a good job, you need to make good money, and that's that. And so that was the expectation. So going into something that I was more interested in, like English or writing or things like that, um, no, that was not something that I um was allowed to do or really felt that I could because it's not a career in writing isn't promised. I mean,
Yeah.
and t- teaching English is not lucrative at all. I mean, teachers are severely underpaid.
Yeah. Very underpaid. Very underpaid. I think in my teenage years, my mom made a lot of decisions, but my mom kind of went about it in like a you can pick this or you can pick this. And like
Yeah.
she like filtered the decisions and was like, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. She went more like that route where it's like, I'm still making the decision for you ultimately, but I'll give you two choices, basically. And that was kind of the whole thing. Like when I crashed out and dropped out of school, my mom was like, okay, trade school it is. That's like, you didn't choose the college route. You're going to go get a trade. And so I did. I learned, I became an esthetician. I became a massage therapist. Esthetician was okay. I made more money as a massage therapist, but then the pandemic hit you couldn't touch people like for a whole year. So it kind of like tanked it for me. And then coming back from the pandemic, it changed the whole massage therapy field. I didn't really love it anymore. And I don't know what happened in that time during the pandemic that just made people very weird and creepy when I came back into massage therapy. Like, I had way too many weird and creepy encounters with, I'm not just gonna say men, I had a few with, like, some women too that were weird and creepy, and it turned me off from the job completely, and then my mom passed away, and I just started working in dispensaries, and, like, that's obviously not a career.
Yeah.
So I just started working jobs, like, just to get a
Mhm.
paycheck because I needed to support my life because I'm on my own now, And that became, like, I think I went from, like, building a life to just living in, like, survival mode all the time, and that's where we are
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, while also experiencing insane levels of grief.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're getting to the point where we're coming out of survival mode. I'm getting a better idea of what I might wanna do with my life, and I think with turning 30 and, like, the mindset shift of turning 30, I have more understanding of who I am. I have more confidence in myself to, like, actually do things. I think my family kind of conditioned me to think that I'm a mediocre person, to they put myself in a box where I can't do these things. Like I wasn't born into money, so I can't do that career. I wasn't blessed with this, so I can't do this. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm too this to do. It was just always like a some reason why I wasn't gonna accomplish the thing that I wanted to do. And now I think with being at an age where I have more confidence in myself and my abilities, I do wanna try things that I've always wanted to do, and I I think that my, like, I don't really give a shit attitude is really coming in handy now because I think at this point in life, I look at it more like I'd rather try something and fail than to, like, never try at all and not know if maybe it could have worked out for me.
Right.
So, that's where I'm at now. We're trying new things.
Yeah. I think I I can relate when you said like your family kind of put you in this box. It's a little different because I think my parents worked very hard to ensure that me and my siblings had the opportunities that they didn't take or I think they both regretted not going to school, not getting degrees. Um, so they had a similar experience of they were working jobs and my dad's been in the same job since I was like 6 months old. So he makes very good money now.
Yeah.
It wasn't the case growing up because, we were very much like lower middle class. It was very much paycheck to paycheck. Um, and so I think with that, it was just very much like, nope, you need to go into healthcare, you need to go into business, like those fields that kind of promise a little bit more of financial security. And, um, like this is not a dig at my parents at all. They're great. They
No,
just want us to
it's just the truth of the
have.
matter.
Right. They just wanted us to have what they didn't or what they could have had they taken advantage of the things that were provided for them. Um, or not provided for them. I don't know how I want to say that. If they had
Available to
taken
'em.
advantage, yes, yes, because when they were younger, school was cheaper. They had both gotten like scholarships and things that they just didn't take advantage of. And so it wasn't that they didn't think that we couldn't, it was that they thought that we shouldn't.
Yeah, yeah,
And if we couldn't, it was very much like, "Oh, no, you shouldn't do that, and you can't do that."
yeah. Well, my mom, I think,
Or
was very similar to your dad. Like, she got a job at Bosch when she was like
Yeah.
like almost fresh out of high school basically, and then she worked there literally up until she passed away. So my mom
Yeah.
was in a really good position at the time that she passed, and she'd worked at that company for so long they would have done literally anything for her. So I think she kind of wanted me to get into the same type of like situation where I found a job that I worked at for a really long time and I worked my way up and things like that. And I never found a place where I felt like I could work here for 20, 30 years or whatever and it wouldn't phase me.
Yeah.
I never had that feeling. Every job I had, I'm like a year in and I'm like, God, I hate it here. Like, I think that
Yeah.
the job I had the longest was working for Big B, and I think I've said this before, it's probably the best company that I worked for because it was the least corporate, but it was still very corporate vibes, and it was still very, this is how everyone has to do everything. And I'm not one of those people. I think I don't know what it is in my brain that makes me want to go down the the path less traveled all the time. Like I don't want to be like other people. I want to be different. And I think that's partially because I grew up being the different person in my family. I grew up in a family of white people, and I was always the odd one out. I was always the black sheep. I was always the one who was different, and they never failed to let me know that. So I think I in my adult life and in my, even in my teen life, I always wanted to live up to that, being the one who's different and not
Yeah.
following everyone else and stuff. And I think there were times where I fell into a bit of a follower role, like in high school and stuff like that. But I think when I realized that, it made me go further down the uncharted path and further off on my own, because I'm like, "Ooh, we have to course correct because we started to do the same thing that everyone else was doing, and we got to course correct back to our own path because that's who we are. We are our own person and da da da." So I do think that's kind of a big contributing factor to why I never followed the steps. I never followed the checklist, just because I was overcorrecting for the times that I feel like I was being, for lack of a better term, basic and just following what other people were doing. I
Yeah.
grew up and I was like, that's not who you are. That's not what we do. And so we overcorrected a bit too much and ended up living in a bus for 2 years.
That happened.
That did
I love
happen.
your lore is so good. I can't wait till we get into all of
Do we
it.
dig into all my lore? I've lived many
I
lives for somebody who's only 30.
Girl, I think I took on follower role pretty frequently, um, growing up, and I can't pinpoint exactly why or maybe, like, what led to that. I think I always say this is probably why I need therapy. Um, but I did very much take, like, a follower role. I always wanted to be included. I always wanted people to want me to be around, and so I think I did very frequently compromise, what I like and my beliefs to have that, and that's I was not popular in high school, like, I was not. I had a group of maybe, like, 6 friends. I was not part of the popular crowd. Um I always wanted to be, but I never was. And I think that I don't know. I was a dancer. I loved dance. I danced from the time that I was 3 until I think I did my last recital at like 21, 22. So I danced for a long time. Um, and then I also did cheerleading. I hated cheerleading. I hated it. Oh my god, did I hate it. And it was like a, "Nope, like, you're doing this, like, you can't quit now." Um,
This is
and
why
I
I think
think
we were meant to be friends, because I cheered too, and we were in the same division. We were definitely at the same competitions. We were in the same building in multiple times while we were in high school. But the difference, I loved cheerleading because I was good
yeah,
at it and I loved being good at something. I was one of the
wasn't
best
it
people on my team and I loved it. I loved being able to rub in all those bitches' faces. Like, I can do this and you can't. Like,
Yeah. I think I was not that good at it, and everyone knew that I wasn't that good at it. Everyone knew. I mean, it was not a secret. I was not that good at it,
I think
and
that
that's
was the
okay.
curse of being a dancer, though, because I think all the dancers that ever joined our cheer team, they weren't good at cheerleading. They were good at certain aspects of cheerleading, but they weren't good cheerleaders. And I just think it's because they're two different things.
Yeah. I mean, I could perform if I needed to, but I think, um, I wanted to do other things. Like, I always wanted to, like, sing, and I don't know if I would have been a good singer. Um, but it was, like, growing up with limited financial resources, it was like, okay, well, if you wanna do that, you have to choose. You have to choose between dance or singing, and I didn't wanna give up dancing, or you have to choose between cheerleading and singing, and I was like, "Well, like, that's my friends are there," like, my
Yeah.
very best friend cheerleader, and so, it was, like, those sorts of things, but also in my family, if you it's different now. I think my siblings got to have a little bit more kind of, like, be a little bit more of who they were, but it was, like, if you wanted to do something that was kind of, like, outside the norm, or, like, what other people viewed as weird, because for some reason in my little podunk Michigan town, if you wanted to join like theater or band, or it was like very much that like stereotypical, like, oh, those are the weird kids. And it was like, well, you don't want to be a weird kid,
Yeah.
because being a weird kid is that's bad. People are going to ridicule you, people are going to say something, and um so I didn't do those things, and to where now, like, I really wish I would've. I did do, I love to write, and I've always loved to write. I've kind of gotten away from it, because I was writing too many political papers, but, um, I love to write, and so I took every AP English course I could in high school. I took all the creative writing in undergrad. I did so many English courses as electives, um, and so sometimes I wish I would have done something with that.
Yeah.
Uh, but like I don't know. I wish I would have just tried it. I wish I would have just, because maybe I would have liked it more, and then maybe I would have been like, you know what? Yeah, I do want to do this instead.
Yeah.
But I was afraid of being ridiculed or being a weird kid that I just didn't. I wanted to be accepted and I wanted to be included. And I don't know if that's I don't know where that came from. I think my mom had some, like, pretty, like, strong views about, "No, you don't want to, like, like, are you sure?" And I think that obviously came from, like, some of her own
Yeah.
things, and so I think that that kinda
I think
but
my
I just
dedication to being different put me in a
yeah,
situation where, like, I did join the drama club, and I did, um my school offered, like, a dance class that was part of, like, your music credit, and so I did that instead of taking, like, a music class or anything like that. I I got really into performing arts, and I loved that part of cheerleading. The performing part of it was always, like, I think for me, I always just really liked being good at things. I liked excelling at the things that I did. I was an athlete, and I was really good at all the sports that I played, and I I played soccer, and I can't tell you, in my whole 4 years of playing soccer, I don't think I sat out for one game. Like, I
yeah,
I was a beast, but I think I did all these things that were very much considered, I don't wanna say cool, because I don't ever consider that I was a cool person in high school. There were a lot of people who hated my guts, and fair enough. I wasn't the best person when I was in high school, but I did a lot of things that I think people would consider cool, but I also craved that individuality of being myself and being around people who were considered the weird kids and things like that. I loved the highlight of my high school experience was being in the drama club and partaking in that kind of stuff. I got to be an Oompa Loompa in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and that was the best thing in the world to me. I got to be a munchkin in The Wizard of Oz, and it was so good, and it made me feel so good, and I loved, like, that was a highlight of my whole experience in high school. And so I think that's where I got to really be myself and, like, express that part of me that was different. And I think I loved that feeling so much that when it came to my adult life and my 20s and stuff, I always strived to be different from everybody because I loved the feeling of getting to be myself and being good at being myself and being good at putting on a show for people and making people feel good, making people laugh, having all the little kids come in and watch The Wizard of Oz and watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory and be like, oh my gosh, you're an Oompa Loompa doing backflips. You're so cool. Like, it was such a cute, like, heartwarming thing to me. And I just loved that feeling that I think I carried that, like, if I'm just unapologetically myself and I do the things that make me feel good, it's going to be fulfilling for me on the inside. Am I going to make a lot of money? Am I going to excel in life in the way that people, you know, think you're traditionally doing good and winning in life? Probably not. But at least I'm fulfilling that part in me where I'm being myself and I'm putting my self-love first. Like, I'm never putting myself in a position where I'm unhappy. I'm never putting myself in a position where, like, I hate this job that I'm working, but I'm gonna keep working it because that's what you're supposed to do. And, like, that's never been me and that's never been how I've operated. And it's not put me in the best financial position for most of my adult life. But I think as far as, like, fulfillment goes and just being a happy person and, like, feeling good about myself, I think it did a lot of good for me. I think it helped me helped me learn, like, who I am and the things about myself that I really love and I want to share with people. It shaped me into, like, a really, I don't know. I don't know what the word is because I don't want to say a good person because I don't think that makes you a good person, but it just shaped me into a person who's just really authentic and genuine in myself.
Yeah.
Like, I'm,
Yeah, and I think that's what missed. I missed it all. I didn't do those things. Um, whether it was like with the ideals and beliefs that I was kind of raised with of like financial security is the most important thing. Like that, that was very much what I was raised with. And I don't think that it's a bad thing. I think that at that time, they were young and they had 3 kids that they had to provide for, and they had 3 kids that they didn't want to just do the bare minimum for. They wanted us to be able to play sports and they wanted us to be able to do things. So at that time, financial security was very important for them.
yeah.
And it was very much coming from a place of, we want to raise you to be better than who we were. And we want to make sure that you utilize or take advantage of the opportunities that you have. And you need to take as much advantage as you can to set yourself up to be financially secure. And then the rest can come later.
Yeah.
And so, um, I am very financially secure. And like I said, I do have a good job and I'm very grateful. And I don't hate my job. And thank God, it's tough. And I think there are some days where I feel like I do hate my job, but I don't hate my job. So I am very lucky in that I did choose a career path that I doesn't make me want to throw myself into the lake every day.
I think we're very
So,
blessed in the way where we're very blessed in different ways. Like, you are
yeah,
in a career that you enjoy and you're financially secure and you have that, like, peace of mind. I am very secure in who I am and I'm very
yeah,
firm in who I am. Like, I don't waver for anybody. And I think I've gained a lot of, like, confidence in myself and my abilities and things like I don't really let people I don't let anybody tell me about myself. Like, I like,
yeah.
you can try and say some things about me. One thing you ain't never gonna do is call a bitch ugly because I know I'm not ugly.
True. True. No, I think my biggest, like, the um I was so scared to talk about these things because I'm just like, people are gonna think I'm so ungrateful. Because it's not. I
Oh.
am grateful, but like I said, I had a specific checklist in my head and um kind of like a blueprint of what my life should look like. And I did that. But now I'm at a place where, okay, I have the career, I have the family, um, but I think so much of me is defined by my accomplishments and those things that I did. Um, you know, I my job title I think holds so much of my personality. So like when you ask me to describe myself and tell you about myself, I really do. I typically lead with what I do for a job. I'm a mom. I'm married. It's kind of those things that aren't really don't really give you an idea into my core and who I am as a person. And I think that leading up to the last year in my 20s, um, it was like, what do I like?
Yeah, you definitely had a
Like what?
panic of, I don't have any hobby. Like, I remember you calling me one time and being like, I don't have any hobbies. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that can't
because
be true.
I don't. I like I don't, and because the ones that I did have when in my early 20s, I, I got a bachelor's degree, I got a master's degree. So much of my time was spent doing those things. I didn't have time for the hobbies. I didn't have time to take dance classes. I didn't have time to, I got back into reading after I finished my master's degree. I didn't have time to do those things. And because I didn't have time or I didn't have the extra energy to spend, they just kind of fell off. And then now all of a sudden, I'm 30 and it's been almost 10 years since I've done any of that. And now I'm like, do I even like those things anymore? Would I like it if I tried it again? What do I like? How do I relax? How do I blow off steam? How do I, where's the self care part of this? And what do I do to take care of myself? I don't know because I don't know what's going to feed my soul.
Well, I'm hoping
I,
through doing this whole thing, I'm hoping we can help you find yourself a little bit. Like I think I I have personal goals for us doing this podcast, and I think one of my personal goals that I have for you is to help you find yourself a little bit and figure more about like who Vanessa is as a person, because I think I see all the parts of you that are awesome and great and the things that I love about you, and you have such a hard time seeing it, and I'm like, I'm trying to open the curtains, Vanessa, and show you like
I do. I think I just I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't even know how I would describe my personality or who I am to other people. I
well,
am
first things first, you're funny as fuck. Don't nobody let her tell you she's not. Nobody listen to her if she tries to tell you she's not funny, because Vanessa is so funny and she doesn't even try.
quick compliment.
I can't help it.
Um,
I just love you.
uh, but my personal goals that I've set for myself for my 30s is similar to just discover who I am outside of these things. Like I said, I do like my job and I do love being a mom. I think being a mom is my can you hear him?
No, the ice cream truck is back. It's literally a guy on a bike with a cooler playing ice cream truck music. That's the ice cream truck in my neighborhood. If anyone wants to know why I hate Texas. That's there's an example.
I think Luke's upset because he can hear me, but I told Carl they have to stay back there. But we would have to end it if he came up here. He's two. He's
He's such a lovely
the
little.
lightweight,
I love
but
him.
he is two. But I love being a mom, and being a mom is something that I always wanted to do. Um, and I that brought so much fulfillment into my life, and so much of that feeling of like, yes, I was meant to do this. There's no question in my mind that I was meant to be a mom. Um, ooh, That made me emotional. But that's another thing is so then I became a mom and I think I lost myself in motherhood a little bit. Um, because it takes a lot out of you. But I want and so I'm fine with mom being part of my personality, but I just want that little bit more
Vanessa.
of yeah,
Yeah. Just who is Vanessa? It makes
yeah,
sense. I mean, I think it makes perfect sense. Like I feel like nobody ever wants to be defined by one thing or another, so it makes sense that you want to be able to like say who you are without using one of your titles, just describing the core of who you are as a person. It makes sense. I mean, I think that there are a lot of people who go down a similar path where they do follow what is typically expected of you to do in your 20s, and then they get
so.
into their 30s and they're like, well, what now? And I think some people don't know how to handle it, and that's when it causes weird issues in people's lives and their marriages and things like that. But then I think there's other people who do take the time to try to figure that out, and it ends up ultimately working out better for them in the long run. But I feel like I've seen even some of my close friends who got married really young and things like that, and now they're at this age totally different people than who they were when they got married, and now their marriages are falling apart. And I
Yeah,
just I never wanted to be one of those people. And so
yeah,
I've always, I don't know, I've always, it might sound selfish, I've always put myself first. I've always had the mindset of nobody is going to look out for you except for you. So you have to put yourself first. You have to love yourself more, because
mhm,
if you don't love yourself, who's going to? So I've always
mhm,
put myself in a position of not I'm up here, but like in my priorities. I don't have anything else to prioritize. So in my priorities, I am up here. I have to love myself the most, because I can't love everybody else around me if I'm not loving myself.
yeah, and I think that, for you too in particular, and don't if I'm wrong, like, tell me I'm wrong, but I think, like, when your mom passed away too, it just that, like, further cemented that belief for you of, like, "I'm
I'm
all
all
I
I
got."
got. Well, yeah, because I think for most of my life, I've always looked at my mom as all that I had. Like I,
Mm,
I modeled my whole idea for a career around like being able to ultimately like teach my mom how to take better care of herself, because my mom has love you, mom, but my mom was always a doormat for everybody in her life. Like my grandpa, my uncles, like everybody around her, nobody really treated my mom the way that she deserved to be treated. And I always wanted to teach my mom how to love herself more and how to take better care of herself. And that's honestly why I got into the wellness field to begin with, was because I really wanted my mom to prioritize herself more and her self-care and things like that. Um, I think when my mom passed away, it put me in a spot where I kind of resent the wellness field now, because I feel like I put all that work in to do all of that and to teach my mom how to take better care of herself and, all of this just for it to fail. So
mm,
I I think nowadays I have no interest in being a massage therapist or being an esthetician or being in any field where it's like wellness and self-care and things like that, because I failed. I failed my first mission in what I originally wanted to do. I wanted to take care of the one person who took care of me her whole life, and I couldn't. So,
mhm.
oh golly. Hallelujah.
It's totally my fault.
No, it's literally she's right here. So it's like
Hey, Christy. Christy Coleman.
no, so I think it was a lot of like my mom was all I had for my whole life, my mom and my sister, and when my mom passed away, my sister and I, we didn't really get along. My sister, well, it wasn't for lack of trying on my part, but my sister didn't want anything to do with me when my mom passed away, and so I really had to put myself first and think about myself and be my own champion and figure everything out on my own, and that's when I went to go live in a bus by myself was because I was like, "Well, I ain't got nobody else, so I might as well just fuck off to the desert."
To the desert. Nobody else needs me. Yeah. And I think that those huge, massive life events, they I think when you experience a huge, massive life event like that, especially, before you're supposed to, you know what I mean? Where you're supposed to grow old and then lose a parent. I think it's always going to change the course of your life in one way or another. And for you, it just so happened in your early to mid 20s. And
Yeah. I think too a little bit, and I don't know if this makes sense, but this is what I tell myself all the time. I think it's slightly delayed me a little bit. Like when I turned
yeah.
30, I still felt like I was like 28. Yeah, like or like I don't know, it's like the time that I spent leaving and stuff, I didn't feel like I aged at all. Like I felt like I was forever 27. Like I was there and that's where I was staying. And then all of a sudden one day I turned 30. And like and it was kind of a wake-up call to me. Like I'd spent the last 4 years grieving hard and not doing anything, not working, none of that stuff. And then last year, I just kind of one day, like my brain fog cleared out, and I was like, we have to start making moves. We have to start living our life. Mom wouldn't want you to rot
Yeah.
like out of sadness. She would want you to experience your life and do things. And I think the biggest indicator that I got of that was when I went to South Korea. I felt closer to my mom in all the way in South Korea than I ever do anywhere here. Like at my grandpa's house, even when I was living in my mom's house after she passed away, like any of that stuff, I felt closer to my mom being in South Korea on top of
Yeah.
a mountain, like looking over the whole city or there was so many times where I just like I felt her presence so strongly and
Hmm.
my mom has no connection to South Korea. Like, it's at
Yeah.
all. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Even when I was talking to Claire's mom about it, she was like, "Is your mom Asian?" And I'm like, "No." Like, no. Like, no, my mom has no connection to South Korea. But I felt so close to my mom those 10 days that I was there. And I can't explain it, but I feel like it was my mom telling me like I was doing the right thing, like I was living my life, and that's what she wanted me to do was to live my life and not just sit here in bumfuck Texas being sad all the time.
Yeah.
I probably
Yeah. I
shouldn't say
think
that.
that like, that's okay. You are kind of in bumfuck Texas. So I'm sure there's parts of Texas that aren't bumfuck, but you're in bumfuck Texas.
Bumfuck
Um,
Texas.
yeah, I think that was kind of like the big thing that kind of uh that was your big move. That was your big like here's what's happening next type kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so she was probably like, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. We moving up and moving on. We're gonna have a little voice in the background because he's in my room eating his Jelly's watching it.
That's okay. We're very
Maybe the
authentic here.
Mama
Mommy sweet.
So
Very authentic here.
oh, I think I was gonna talk about like how my family dynamics also kind of informed my career choice or like kind of how I got there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I feel similarly in that my parents and the mental health in my family was never super big. No one talked about it. Um, really until probably I was in high school. Um, and I started showing some not so great markers for mental health. And my mom did she used to do mental health days with me. And if it was just a day where just was all a little bit too much, she would just let me like come hang out with her at work, or sometimes she would even take the day off and we would just do something. Um, and I think that, we're only 30, but even when we were in high school, like people didn't talk about mental health and what mental health is, or, um, what it looks like when you're not mentally well. And so I think that her doing that kind of opened my eyes to what mental health is. And then, there's a lot of other stuff in between there, but I ultimately landed on psychology as my major in undergrad. And I think that um, the older I got and when I became an adult, the more that I learned about what my parents went through growing up. When you're a kid, you catch glimpses of it. You scared me. It's just and he chomped down on something. Made me jump. Um, and you catch glimpses of it when you're a kid, but you don't really, you don't get to know the details. And then finally learning about the actual details. Don't you? The actual details about what she went through. And um so I think I just wanted to understand. I wanted to understand people's why a little bit more. Um, because my parents weren't perfect, but they tried their best and they did their best with what they had. And so, there were obviously some things where I was like, why would you do that? Why would you say that? Why, why? And I wanted to learn about people's why a little bit more. Wah, wah, wah. And I think also um, understand myself a little bit more as well. And it really did, ultimately. Ooh. I think ultimately I did get to learn a lot about myself in my by getting 2 degrees in psychology. Hey, 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 hey. Had nice hands. Had nice hands. Be nice, or we're gonna get down. Do you want to get down? Yeah. Okay, let's be nice. Then. Uh,
No, that makes sense though. Like that's a really good way to learn about your own self is by diving into how that works and people's whys. I like that. They're wise.
yeah, and I think okay, ready? Wow. Uh, so I think that
Like I just
I
noped you.
yeah, I think that I have always been very I am very logical, and hold on, everything disappeared. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hold on, I just have to find you.
I'm
There you are. Uh,
back.
Hi.
Hi, Bubby. Looky pooky.
And so I think that I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to learn about it from an academic standpoint because no one else is going to explain this to me. No one else knows. This isn't something that I can learn about through just life experience. I'm going to teach myself, and then I'm going to make it better for because I'm also an older sister. And so I'm going to teach myself, and I am then going to make it better for them. I'm going to make sure I really took it upon myself to teach my family. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
Aw. I think I kind of for like my earlier 20s, I kind of took that role on with Madison, trying to like steer her in a good direction and stuff like that, and kind of be there for her in ways that I feel like I didn't really have anybody there for me when I was her age and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately with like how it all went down after my mom passed away, I think that's what ultimately made me, I don't know, like I kind of look at Madison and I'm like, I'm so proud of her and how she's living her life right now, and she she's doing things, I don't want to say the right way because I feel like there isn't really a right way, but she's being smart about a lot of things. Whereas I think my lack of direction that I had growing up kind of put me on this path where I was essentially, I feel like I was like the ball in a pinball machine and I was just like bouncing off of things and trying to figure it out. And I mean,
Yeah.
I think it helped in the way that I'm really good at figuring it out now. Like every time
Mhm.
I'm in a situation where I'm like, ooh, I'm not gonna have anywhere to live in a minute or some, like I always can figure it out. Like I put myself in a good place where I have good peace of mind about things because I'm a figure it out queen, but I only got that way because I pinballed my way through my 20s and had to figure it out all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely think that that is I definitely think that that's true. Um, I think you are very much a figure it out, um, type of person, and it's definitely, yeah, I think you're right in the sense that, like, something like that, like, it can be good, but it can also be like it almost becomes like a habit of, like,
Putting myself
um
in like bad situations that I have to figure out.
yeah, or just that, like, lack of, like, planning ahead almost.
Oh my
You're
God.
like, "Well, I'll figure it out." So, like, I don't need a plan because I know I'll figure it out.
Whoever I
And so
marry
because
needs to be like a Home Depot dad type where it's like he's got a plan for everything because I don't expect me to plan nothing. Very much a
yeah.
last minute figure it out person. When I decided I wanted to take a trip to South Korea, I booked my flight like a month in advance and we figured it out.
Figure it out.
Made a list of
That turned
places I
out
wanted to
very
see.
well,
It did. It did.
though.
I it it put me in a new mindset to where now I'm so fascinated by taking in other cultures and traveling, and I think it showed me the importance of getting outside of your box and
Mhm.
experiencing more because I think my mind always said like my bus experience was me getting outside of my box and experiencing more and learning more and things like that, but I think with my trip it opened my eyes to like we took the tape off the box. We didn't come out though. And that's like it.
Yep. Yeah.
It took a
So
lot
funny.
to, I don't know, to realize I needed to start living my life a little differently. I needed to start thinking more about my future and thinking more about life ahead, but also
Yeah.
not forgetting to stay present in the moment that we're in now and appreciating the things that are in front of me right now. Like, I hate
Yeah.
where I live, but I'm grateful to have a roof over my head. So, as much as I'm like, I hate Texas, I hate Texas, I hate Texas, I hate Texas, I used to live in a bus in my cousin's backyard that leaked and things like that. Like now when it rains, I'm not getting droplets of water on my head or, I have a real toilet instead of a composting toilet. There's all these things that, yes, I figured it out ultimately, but
Mhm.
I'm in a way better position now than I was then.
Right.
And I can be
Yeah.
grateful for it, even though I hate it here.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's, like, what I was trying to say earlier is I don't want anyone to think that I'm ungrateful because I'm so grateful for and I recognize the privilege that I have, in the opportunities that were given to me and that were available to me. I recognize that privilege and I don't want anyone to think that I'm am ungrateful. I think I mostly just wish I would have taken advantage of other opportunities instead of focusing so much on just the future and what I wanted the future to look like. I wish I would have taken more advantage of the opportunities that would have, uh, that would have led to some like really great memories or friendships or, just a little bit more self discovery rather than just, I'm going to get a career, I'm going to get married, and I'm going to have a family, and that's it. And then I love my family. And then when I was younger, I always wanted a family. I always wanted to be married. I always wanted to be on my own. I always wanted to be a mom. So that I can recognize that I am living the life that 16-year-old Vanessa dreamed about. And I'm so grateful that I get to do that. I just wish I would have had a little more fun along the way, I think is
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah. I think that's part of like those last years of your 20s though, is like looking back and having that moment of like, I wish I would have done this, or I wish because
Yeah.
I think for me, like, I'm grateful for the position I'm in because I am a very detached person when it comes to like, not so much to people, but like when it comes to objects and places. I always say like everything's temporary, like I don't have to live anywhere forever and things like that. And I'm grateful for that perspective, and I got that perspective from, the figure it out mentality. But I do know that I always wanted to get married and have a family and all that stuff, and I wish I had that. But I also know very well that if I was in a relationship with anybody at the time that my mom passed away, it would have crumbled. It wouldn't have worked out. It would have gone very
Sure.
south because I was not in a position to be in a relationship with anybody. I was barely in a position to like nurture my friendships with people. So I don't think it would have went well. So I think ultimately it is a good thing that I didn't, like, none of that ever happened. And I think now it's really altered my perspective on what I want in a partner and how I want to raise my kids and like all that kind of stuff. So I am grateful for the fact that my life never panned out the way that I wanted it to. And I'm not where 16-year-old Tiffany wanted to be, but it's
Mm.
probably for the best because I don't think it would have worked out when I was going through all that with my mom.
That's so interesting.
I know myself well enough to know I I wouldn't have been a present partner, I wouldn't have been a present parent,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been any of that. And I mean, clearly
Yeah.
we see because I had to go escape to the desert for 3 months in order to like pick my brain pieces back up and put them together. But I'm I'm glad that I didn't have all of that wrapped up in also grieving my mother, because I wouldn't have ended up in a good position. Don't worry, it didn't come through. He said, "Actually, never mind." Yeah, so
You are crazy.
I think it was ultimately a good thing that it never worked out the way that I wanted to, and it taught me to be more detached from my plan. And like,
Yeah.
I'm more flexible with life now. Like, I take it as it comes and things like that. And I think that leaves me very open to the possibility of anything happening. Like, I tell you all the time, all my crazy delusions and things like that. But I think me thinking that way and not being particularly attached to any outcome leaves me open to any outcome, puts me in a position where I'm open to receiving any kind of blessing that comes my way?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that really, like, highlights some of our differences in that, like, um, I don't know. I tell you all the time, I don't know how you did it because would be a mess.
I mean, I was.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's just like the way that you're able to like take that and like that self-awareness that you have, I think is unmatched. And like, no, like I would have ruined my marriage. I would have like
No, I know I would've. I wouldn't have been a present parent, and I would've tanked my marriage 100%. So I'm grateful that I wasn't in a position where I would have ruined my whole life because I was just not in the proper state of mind to be making any type of decisions or to be taking care of another human being or being, part of a family. I could barely communicate with my sister, let alone a partner or a child or something like that. So I think that it was very I think it was very important that I didn't follow the steps that I had originally planned for myself when I was younger because I think it all would have gone south when my mom died. And I'm I'm grateful for that lesson because it did teach me to be detached from outcomes and not like, yes, I need to get better at planning, but also I don't want to hang on too tight to any particular plan because things happen in life. Like I would have never thought my mom would have passed away before I turned 30. That would have never like that thought didn't even cross my mind. So I think that whole thing taught me to be more open to what could happen because I also would have like 5 years ago, I would have never thought of taking a trip to South Korea. Like, that thought would have never crossed my mind. Maybe India because, me and my wellness stuff, but not South Korea. But I went and I had the best time and I fell in love with just the atmosphere. And I might sound crazy. Like, I know there's lots of people who shit talk South Korea, but I had the best time and I felt so grounded and like connected to myself and my soul and things. It's so weird. But I never, I feel like I tell you this all the time. I want to go someplace and have that like moment of like, this is where I'm meant to be. This is where I belong. I feel like that was the closest that I've ever gotten to it was taking that trip.
just so interesting about South Korea, and we can talk more about it in a different episode. But like the things that you hear in regards to how they treat people of color, um, and that was
Not my
it's
experience.
just so crazy to like know that like oh like
And I don't want to discount
about
anyone's experience. Like, I'm sure people have had bad experiences, and I don't want to invalidate that at all for anyone who has had a negative experience or anything like that. But I just know for me, I had personally had a really good experience. I felt really close to my mom, and I felt really grounded and like, I don't know, like it just felt good to be there and be around different people and experience a different culture. And I don't know, it lit a fire in me that made me want to actually live my life more and do more with myself.
yeah, yeah. And I think, I'm sure that the culture obviously plays like a huge part in that, but I think it's more so about the experience that you had and that you're like, I am ready to start living and be back in the world of the living.
Yeah, yeah. It made me just realize like I need to rejoin society. I need to start like doing
Mm,
things and being myself more on a more open platform and like putting myself out there. And I think going to South Korea by myself for that time was probably the most that I've ever put myself out there in my entire life. Like biggest risk I've ever taken, I think, is just going on that trip by myself, which I feel like some people might look at that and be like, that's the biggest risk you ever took. But I mean, realistically, it is the biggest risk I've ever taken. I mean, maybe we can put the bus in there too, because that was a pretty big risk, but that was a really,
Zero judgment.
I just jump in with 2 feet. I don't know what to tell you. Like, one thing you can't
No.
say about me is that I ever half-ass anything. I whole ass everything I do.
Rude.
And I always do the things that I say I'm going to do, which I feel like I never really saw it that way. But Lamar said that to me one day, and I was like, that's like the best compliment that anyone's ever given me before. And then my sister called me brave, and I was just like, do you think I'm brave? Like, I don't know. I'm used to receiving compliments about my appearance, but when people compliment like me and like to my core and my personality and things like those compliments mean so much to me because I was raised in a family that put me in a box of like I don't know, they handled me with like kid gloves all the time and they treated me like I wasn't able to do anything and they minimized me so much to a point where like I grew up feeling like I can't do anything besides like work some mediocre job or some shit like that and having people like make me feel like I'm worth more and like make me feel like I have the ability to do more and like having you guys in my life and stuff has really put me in a position where I do want to try more things. I think my 30s are my era of trying all the things that I've ever wanted to do and trying to build a life that I love wherever that may be.
Yeah. Yeah. With like more like career aspirations as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean like where I am right now, like I said, I'm very proud of what I have done and I'm very grateful for all of the opportunities that I had and I did take advantage of and I love being a mom and I love being a wife and I love having my own family. Like I said, those were things that I've wanted since I was a little girl. And so, it worked out. I think I am just I want to either rediscover the pieces that I might have lost of myself along the way or discover new things about myself. I think I tried to jump in like a little too I think I said too many and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to sew. I'm gonna learn how to make my own butter. I'm gonna start a garden. I'm gonna do all these things. And I was like, you don't have to do all that. Chill.
At least you have an idea of things that you want to try though. Like that's a good place to start.
Yeah, I think now that I'm in a place where I can do these things, I want to kind of lean more into like the creative side of me because I've always said like I'm not great. But I think that I have been in different ways. And I was a dance teacher for a few years. I choreographed my own routines, like I got to be creative in that way. I used to write a lot of like poetry. I used to do, this is embarrassing. Do you know what Tumblr is?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Thank God. I used to write like short stories, poems, and things and post them on Tumblr. I
Not
think I can still
embarrassing.
find them actually. Uh, yeah, Tumblr was a big thing. And so I think I want to like get back into some of that maybe a little bit of writing. I don't know what I would even do or write, but
You can write fan fiction.
I I need some fan fiction.
I think you could write some.
Did some listen, okay, we're about to get off topic here for just a minute
That's
because
what
I
we do.
just have to get there are some talented ass people that write fan fiction, and I will read something, um, as part of this like fan fiction world that I'm in, and it becomes like a completely different story. And they're completely different. Like they're not even the characters that I was originally reading about. And so now I read one fan fiction story and I was like, whoa. And so now I'm in this whole world of fan fiction because they're new stories. It's
Yeah.
so great. And I think it's more of like a curiosity thing. I don't think I'll ever write anything that can be posted for other people's consumption. Um, but there's some good writers out there. And then they like put in the notes, they're like, I'm a mom of 3 and I'm a lawyer. And I'm like, there's all sorts of people out there writing fan fiction and it is crazy.
I mean, yeah, there are
Um,
lots of people who do things that I would never guess that they are who they are in their normal everyday
yeah.
life because they present so different in whatever space we're in. So it's kind of cool to see people who are multifaceted like that. Like they can just be all these different people at once. Where I feel like I spent my whole 20s trying to like, figure out one side of myself. Like,
Yeah. 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 And I think that that's my ultimate goal is to, because I think I can be multifaceted, but I feel like there's just some parts that are almost like they're underdeveloped.
yeah,
Just and it's just like other people don't get to experience those different parts to where like you obviously get to experience every part. Like Carl sees it all. And he's so like that's I gotta tell you, marry the man that draws you hearts in the snow, okay? Because that guy, I told one day, I was like, I'm, I want to write a book. And he was like, okay. I was like, do you think I can? And he was like, yeah. Like without, there was no pause, no question. He was like, you could totally write a book.
listen,
And
my
then he like
standards are
kept
high
on it.
because I have great examples, okay? Between Carl, Jimmy, and Lamar, I've got great
Yeah.
examples of like
Yeah.
what I want in a man.
Mhm.
Because Jimmy
Mhm.
does not let Claire lift a finger. Lamar is a super dad. Like Lamar is always with Lay. And then Carl just like loves the fuck out of you. Like anything you do, that man's like, I'm on board.
Yes. Yes. While keeping me in check. He holds the belief that I can do anything I want to, but he also, if I get a little too like, he's like, okay, like maybe do this first. And then he's like, let's plan it out. Let me help you. He's definitely the calm to my, um, whatever, my hurricane that I am.
I need to get my
I'm ready for
logistics together. And I don't think
that's
any of
fine.
my plans really include getting my logistics together. I am still bopping around doing my thing.
You have some long term plans.
I think my longest term plan right now is the 6 months that I'm going to spend in Korea learning Korean. I mean, I do have a
Oh,
goal ultimately at the end of it all. Like, I would like to become a teacher and teach children in other countries English. That would be a phenomenal thing to do, I think. But we're in the beginning stages because homegirl never went to college. So,
you'll figure it out. There's
figure it
no
out today.
timeline on anything. I mean, Carl just finished his degree. He's 30. So everyone's on their own. There's no timeline.
I also don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen in my life. I don't know what's gonna come along my way. I don't know, I'm trying to do things that might alter that whole plan and change it for me. And who knows where I'll be and who knows where I'll be at the end of the year, let alone in 5 years. So I should probably do better about planning, but I feel like my life has kind of just taught me that things don't always go to plan. So I kind of just roll with the punches at this point in time and see where I end up.
Yeah, I think it's more so less about the plan and more so about setting the goals and taking the steps to achieve the goals. And I think
And
you
I've been
are.
doing that, yeah. I wrote I have my I have a 6-month goal poster next to my desk.
I love that.
I just I needed some direction, but my style is I keep it loose and flowy.
I wish I could keep it more loose and flowy. I'm so high strung and so like
I think that's why we're a
uptight.
good pair.
It has to be because I am uptight. I am not go with the flow.
I think there's like so much anxiety about turning 30. I think too many of us have gotten in our head that like your life ends when you turn 30, but I feel like we need to open up our minds to the fact that for a lot of people, your life is just beginning when you turn 30. Don't put any of your dreams to rest. Don't feel like you have to do everything in your 20s. Your 20s are the time for you to make mistakes and learn the lessons. And I think your 20s shape you into the type of person you're going to be in your 30s. And that's not saying that you are the same person in your 20s and in your 30s. It's just saying you learn all of these lessons for you to take into your 30s with you. And you live your life in a way where you recall the things that happened in your 20s and you don't repeat those processes. You don't repeat those mistakes. I think your 20s is when you learn the lesson. Your 30s is when you apply the lesson. Put that on a fortune cookie.
I'm fighting off a cold.
Fighting off something.
The demon.
I think we all
I
just need
think
to learn to be a little
that
detached too. Like things aren't always going to go to plan, and sometimes you do have to just let things go. Sometimes you just have to let people go, but you have to find a community that loves you and makes you love yourself and teaches you to love yourself.
yeah,
I guess I got excited. I got too excited. I guess I had cute aggression too.
I'm
Crying in the club.
in the club. If I'm crying, it's the club.
That's my favorite thing you've ever said.
I hear it all the time at work. I don't know. I just have like, I can't even think of one off the top of my head. There's crying in the club, and then there's like some other ones, and I'll just like things that I just say, and then I hear my coworkers say them, and most of my coworkers are a little bit younger than I am. Say it, I'm just like,
You said I've
yeah,
I've made an impact.
that's me.
I love that. I like it when you text it. That's always when it's the funniest, is when you text it.
I'm gonna cry in the club.
I'll say something and you'll just be like, I'm crying in the club. It's just text.
I feel like I never deliver it like because I usually say it when something funny has happened, and I never deliver it when I'm like laughing.
It's always so monotone. You like something happens and you laugh, and then when you stop laughing, you go, I'm crying in the club. Just with the straightest face. I'm like, are you? Because it doesn't look like it.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's okay. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
I'm gonna think of like what's something else I say a lot. I don't know about that for too long. I don't know. I don't know. I say a lot of shit.
I say a lot of like old people phrases.
Oh golly.
Golly is terrible. It's
Tiffany was at my house and she said golly so much I literally put her in timeout. I made her go sit in Luke's dinosaur tent away from me.
because
So
it
I
keeps
couldn't
me
say it
from
more
saying
than
like inappropriate things. Like I have such a bad potty mouth, and especially now that the kids are getting like old enough to where they're repeating the things that I'm saying, sometimes I have to replace a word quick, and the first thing that comes to mind is golly.
Luke wasn't even up.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it replaces, like, when I'm gonna say something inappropriate.
It's just us.
Um,
Um,
okay, but I was gonna say something inappropriate.
shit, it's 5:36.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I'm an
Um,
hour behind.
I okay, my advice, I feel like you don't have good advice. Um, a bald eagle carrying a fish.
That's so
That was
funny.
wild.
I'm clipping that. A bald eagle carrying a fish.
It just flew by.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. I live on, by a lake. Um, we went from my in-laws, they live next door. Um,
Well, if you don't
my
have any
advice,
oh, I was gonna say, if you don't have anything, we can always go to the quotes.
I'm dead. I think that my advice would be, um, if I think I hustled very hard in my 20s and now I'm seeking more of like a quiet existence, that's more so for myself. And I think that if that is your experience as well, and you are hustling very hard in your 20s to set yourself up, um, I think just don't forget to have fun and don't lose yourself while you're doing that. Because I think those things are important. Um, but I think you're also important. And I think spending the time trying to find yourself is just as important as setting and obtaining career goals.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Cheer.
No, I didn't.
He's in there. He's in there. Sometimes in the movie. He's ah.
I think your, like, background noise cancellation is on because I haven't heard him scream at all, and even when you, like, raise your voice a little, it silences it. Like, just now when you screamed, I only heard, like, the front chunk. So, I think you're
Oh, that's
yeah, yeah. So, hey, that's good. Well, we always like to wrap up our episodes with a quote from T and V. We won't tell you who said the quote. We will just simply
yes.
read it. You don't get any context because half the time we don't have any context of what we've said. So give me a second while I find my quote.
Same. I think we typically know who said it. Typically, sometimes we're like, wait, was that you or was that me? Um,
We rarely know context, though.
Rarely.
There's
We
certain
know
ones where
context.
the context is very clear, but
Yeah.
mm,
Some of these are I like how we have the beef jerky.
it just says the beef jerky story too. Oh my.
I don't know which one I want to do.
I've had a couple that just made me laugh really hard, and I don't know which I don't know which one I want to use. Twice. Hmm. I have like 3 that are funny.
No, I mean there's
I I mean, I have like 3 that I just looked at that made me laugh, so I'm like trying to figure out which one
yeah.
of those I want to pick. Oh no! Who took off with my rain collector?
Oh, that's such a good one.
I wish I knew the context behind.
I think I remember the context because you used to collect rain.
It's really good for your plants.
Yeah. Yeah.
I read that one because when I read it in my voice too. Oh no! Who took off with my rain collector?
But I think the one that I will end on is when I say this glamorous little flower with a juicy ass. This is great toast.
Oh my god. Oh, hold on. I need
What am
one more
I?
because Luke has been in this episode. I feel like this is appropriate to say. Settle down before you throw up again.
You used to get refluxy and you get too excited and you throw up.
It was just so funny. Settle down before you throw up again.
Not a good time.
So good. I'm actually going to take a quick moment to update you because I was telling you about the summer house drama last podcast episode we were on. There is
We
leaked
missed our episode.
audio from the summer house reunion that just taped. And Amanda is doubling down on her behavior. And it was so funny. Sierra's friend Mia read the fuck out of Amanda. She said, "How do you go from being married to being West Side bitch?" Mia is a queen. Mia is a queen. Not even just West Side bitch. One of West's side bitches. And you know what's really fucked up about that? West did not say anything to defend her after that was said.
Well, because a man who plays around with you
He don't respect you. And Kyle called him a schmuck, and I think I realized I don't use that word enough in my life.
Okay, let me tell you what. That is the best. I grew up being called a schmuck.
I just hit my head so hard.
That a schmuck is like literally that's part of the hack family core.
Dude, I heard it and I was like, that's a word I don't use enough.
My brother so much that like it's because my dad used it a lot when we were young, like when he was messing around he would call us schmucks so much so that my brother doesn't even call him dad. My brother calls my dad schmuck.
That's hilarious. That is so
I
funny.
swear.
That is so funny. I love that. No, because he said that and I was just like, I don't use that word enough. I do not use that word enough. Oh,
It's so good. It's such a good word. What am I obsessed with this week? I'm watching rewatching Love Island UK season 5. I'm still rewatching that.
love that.
I have so many opinions, but like I feel like everybody who's on the show is like they're better. For the most part, they're better people now. But I'm reminded of why I loved Mora so much immediately. Love that girl down. Forgot that I didn't really like Molly May at first.
Yeah, no, when I went and did a rewatch on it, I forgot that I didn't really like her at first too.
Yeah, I love her now and I love her and Tommy, but forgot that. Did not forget that did not like Lucy. I remember I did not like her.
I don't think anyone could make me like Lucy. I'm so sorry to you, Lucy, but I just
And that's coming solely from like I didn't know anything about her much like after she left. Like this is just from how she was portrayed on Love Island. And I know that editors can do some stuff. So she could be a really great girl. However, the way she was portrayed, terrible. I did not like her. And that Tommy is a little dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. You know who I love from that season? Chris.
Oh, he's not in yet, but yeah.
Oh, I love him. He's so funny. Such a funny
He's
man.
so
Such a funny man.
So
I can't think of any
He's
of the other
ghost.
dudes who I like, though.
Michael, he's just so serious. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. No, my obsession.
yeah.
I've been obsessed with Summer House still, clearly. My obsession right now is trying to figure out what I'm gonna wear to the BTS concert
Yep.
because that's a big question mark. The spectrum of what people are wearing is so wide that I just can't figure out where I want to fall in that. I definitely think I might go with a hooligan vibe though, because I also didn't even think about the fact that we're gonna be with Madison and Vanessa, and they're gonna be dressing.
Like what?
They're just gonna show the fuck out. I already know them. They're cute.
But we're old.
I know, but we don't have to dress it. We're not even old. Bitch, don't call me old. We're not old. We're 30. 30, flirty, and thriving, bitch.
30, flirting, and barely surviving. Okay.
No, it'll get better. We have lots of good karma built up. We're due a good win. Well, I think we are going to wrap it up with that. And on that note, thank you guys.
30, flirting, barely surviving.
No, we're 30, flirty, and thriving. Don't listen to Vanessa.
Thriving.
We're getting there. We're working on it. You can't have a pessimistic attitude about this shit. You gotta.
I said earlier, I think I'm just naturally very pessimistic.
Okay, well, I'm gonna be extra positive for the both of us.
You just broke my finger.
I'm gonna have enough enthusiasm for the both of us. On that note, we love you guys all so much for tuning in and listening to us yap about being old bitches. And we hope that you guys have a wonderful.
Calling us old.
I say it as a joke. You mean it. That's the difference.
I'm an old soul.
I'm an old soul too, but I think I'm the type of old lady who's still going to be eating edibles in my 70s. So, is what it is.
True.
I'm a fun grandma. I have tattoos and shit.
You have grandma names.
I was Florence.
Florence. What am I? Ethel.
Florence and Ethel. Tuning in.
I'm like the retired school teacher that will probably buy a motorcycle when I'm 70.
And I'm like the old hippie grandma whose hair is down to my ankles and I spend my days in my garden playing with my homegrown weed.
Just know that I will be wearing buttoned up cardigans and wide leg linen pants.
I have a feeling I'm going to be sporting those like overall thingies that aren't like real overalls. They're like the linen overalls with like the Birkenstocks. I think that's going to be my vibe when I get old. And kimonos.
But thank you for being here today.
Yes, thank you guys for being here. Tune in for our next episode. Follow us on all of our socials. Check out our website. Leave us a little note in the form section. Vent to us. Let us know what you got going on, and we'll share it if you want us to. But we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you, and we hope you love yourself. Bye!